live on my YouTube. I'm live on my Instagram. I'm live on my Facebook. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you for being here with me tonight. This is Third Eye Bell in the house. Some call me Jamila. Kind of getting used to this YouTube live. It's really interesting, but you have to go back and set it up and everything. So trying to work on that. Oops. I'm knocking things over. Let me get it together. Anyone that does not know me, I am new to YouTube. So I'm not one that's going to be going on and a lot of the bells and whistles and all of that stuff. I'm just going to be on here talking, doing my thing. Hopefully you can hear me clear, that it's not a lot of static. Over on my Facebook, I hope you can hear me clear, that it's not a lot of static and echo. I think I adjusted my mics that they can work okay. And let me know over on my Instagram if I sound clear and not a lot of echo. The echo is not good. That could be annoying. So try not to have that. Let me get set up here before I start my live reading. This live is really going to be for those who it is meant to be for. We are reading in the book Living Untethered during this Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. I just don't ever feel good saying that because, this is an everyday thing for some people to feel like they don't want to be here on planet Earth. It really is. So breaking it down to a month of awareness is okay, but I feel that this is something that should be addressed all the time. And there should be campaigns about that all the time. Because trust and believe, people, they get so caught up in their lives that a month and one day after it's going to be forgotten about. And it's going to be like, what is the next thing? Like in the Wizard of Oz, like first, the Wiz, because in the Wiz, remember it was like red and gold, and the next day it's going to be green, and the next day it might be blue. It's like whatever is the theme topic of that month is what's going on. And every week and every month there's something different. But when it comes to mental health, this should be an ongoing thing because people suffer from this daily. And though they may be receiving attention now because of the awareness of it, what's going to happen a day after or a week after or a month after when no one is paying attention to them and they're still out here suffering? So I am always going to continue with this campaign. I've been doing this since I started my life, is mental health, how to live your best life, how to find out who you are, how to use your magic, how to live as your God self. And that's been my mission this whole entire time, and I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in the book fairly quickly tonight because I'm using all of my data. And, I don't know. I have Spectrum. And you would expect the service to just work. I'm not going to complain. I'm grateful that it even exists. But I'm even more grateful that I have data in all of my devices that I use here that I can continue to go on if something happens. So tonight, once again, we're going to focus on living untethered. I'm going to read chapter 26 and we're going to dive deep. Those who see this now or later, I hope that it is beneficial to you. If it is, please do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you feel that someone should be able to benefit from this, from seeing the live reading, please forward the reading over to them. Our goal is to help save a life or let someone know that tomorrow's another day and everything's going to be okay. It's Friday night. How y'all doing? Let me know how y'all doing in the chat. How are you feeling mentally? Is everything okay? How are you dealing with things? If any of the previous chapters were ever able to help you in any kind of way, I'm going to cleanse my space. I'm using sage tonight. I always have my cards. So whatever I do, I'm going to have my cards. We're going to pull them down. Just welcome cards, as I call in my spirit guides, as I call in my ancestors that serve me for my highest purpose, to share information with us. The book that I'm reading, for those that are new and haven't been following me, see here, these are the Isis deck. I'm feeling like I want to pull a card from the Isis deck, particularly as we're in this half moon cycle. I want to see the Isis energy out there, what's going on. What's that all about? The book right here that I've been reading for probably 8 months now is Living Untethered by Michael Singer. I recommend you go out and buy it, either on audio or hard copy. It is well worth the read. He said, I'm going to jump right in. I'm feeling a little somber tonight. People are interesting. The energies are interesting, and so many people are angry, distraught, in a hurry. I don't know. They're just like, their minds are just like scattered, you know? Got to come back to that oneness. Got to come back to unity and peace and tranquility. And that's what I strive to do here in this place, a place of solitude, that you can come and hear something that is uplifting, something that that you have a purpose, finding your purpose, finding and knowing that you're okay. All right, so I'm going to open up this reading with the Ascended Masters deck. I'm calling in. First, I want to give an offering. Shall not forget. I give offerings by lighting incense. I'm burning Nanchampra as a gift and as a tool to protect the space so that no darker energies can come along and interrupt this whole vibe that we have going here. I wanted to come in at 7. I did pretty good. I'm not going on late. I have something I want to do this evening. And I want to try to start coming in earlier anyway. Even if it's, like I said, it's recording. You can go back and look at this. I never delete my lives. Never. They stay up. All right. So let's see what we got going here. Interesting. We have Melchizedek, the Ascended Master Melchizedek, on board with the message of spiritual law of attraction. This is practicing the spiritual law of attraction. Learning your higher self to manifest what you want in life. You do not have to be stuck. You can get what you want in life, and it can be something positive, but you can also call on negative energies as well. So you must be careful when you are calling in the energy, dealing with the law of attraction. And spiritual law is knowing thy higher self, being able to work through the traumas as we are reading this book. Thank you for joining me. I see you over on my Facebook. Thank you very much. This card comes into play as we read this book. The energy never lies. Good evening, Mr. Charles. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. Spiritual law is everything, because when you learn spiritual law, you learn to practice how to move as this book is showing you. in a way that's not going to affect you and cause trauma and make an unsteady stream in your river flow through your heart chakra, as we were talking about last night on a recap. Once you have been able to create balance for yourself, the stream may be a little rocky, but the goal is to learn how to kick the pebbles and the rocks out of the way so that you can have a clear path to where you need to go, what you want to do, how you need to move. And you work with God as you then understand and understand love. And you can learn what true love is, first by loving yourself above all else. Love thyself. And you love yourself by just sitting with yourself, meditating, forgiving yourself for all that has happened, all that you have done. Forgive yourself. If it was something that was foul, forgive yourself because you are already forgiven. Okay. So let's pull on our next introduction card and our symbol oracle deck. See what message we have out here before I start the read. I'm getting this card a lot. Being grounded. This is the symbol for being grounded. It is essential that you work towards being grounded. Find your balance, find your footing, anchor yourself. That way you are prepared to deal with anything and it won't be so hard on you. You won't feel so distorted and out of sorts when things happen. You can flow with it. Okay? So that is our welcome card for tonight. And as I said, I'm feeling like I still want to call up on Isis to give us a message to start with as well. And that's going to make 3. So I covered the Trinity tonight. I have been working with 2 cards the last few weeks. So I'm going to do a completion tonight by pulling a 3rd card. Nice. I felt the energy of Isis, and this is a card coming out of the Isis deck, and here is the message coming from that energy. And it says, enter the chamber of healing, which is what we are doing here tonight. This is the path we're taking through this book, is entering the chamber of healing. And let's see what this energy speaks about. A spiritual gift of healing is coming to you. Now, she says, be open without expectation or preconceived notions. And allow the healing energy to help you find the best solution for any situation that does not appear to be as it should be. Expect your miracle. Okay? So here's the chamber. Walk through it. Find that light and expect your miracle. It's here. It's coming. All right, now let's get started. In chapter 26, let's see. I'm not even sure. Oh, I don't even have hold on. My microphone was not on for my Instagram. You probably heard all kinds of background noise. Okay, chapter 26, which is what I'm reading tonight. These chapters are always pretty short, so it goes pretty fast. And it's about the human predicament. Yesterday we read about the heart, matters of the heart, healing the heart, kicking the petals out of the way that blocks the flow of energy of the heart. Now, as we move into the next segment, it's about the human predicament and beyond. So I haven't read this ahead of time. I'm reading with you. So let's see what the author is talking about here. Let's get started. The most meaningful question regarding quality of life are not about what you own or what you do. They're about how you're doing inside. Okay? Most people can relate to a response similar to, there are moments that are so beautiful I wouldn't trade them for anything. But there are also moments I don't want to last for another second. In general, I work hard to keep it okay in here, such is the human predicament. And so that's how he kicks off in talking about the moments, talking about how we are feeling inside within the moments. So that's how the author is going to kick this off. So let's see what he says. For most, this is a fair description of what it's like to live in there. So far, our discussions have laid the groundwork for understanding why it is this way. Throughout our lives, we've stored patterns inside ourselves, samskaras. Let me back up. I talked about samskaras yesterday, so if you want to go back and learn more about that, look at my last video and it'll explain that those are simply things that have happened to you in your life and the opinions that you have on them and the things that you will accept and will not accept, the traumas, things you're scared of, things that you love. Okay, so that's basically what it is. He then goes on to say, based upon past experience, we resisted. We then use these stored patterns to build a self-concept consisting of what we like and don't like, and how to get events in the world to unfold accordingly. If we succeed in our efforts, it's generally nice inside. If we don't, it's not nice inside, the author is saying. It is important to understand that every external event is the expression of all the energies that have come together to create that event. When this flow of events energy comes into you, it must make its way through your mind and your heart, and then ultimately merge into your consciousness, he's saying. When you use your will to block an experience from passing through, the flow of energy has to find a way to keep moving. Energy can't stand still, the author is saying. Energy is power. And when it hits the resistance of your will, it is forced to circle around itself. I had to think about that while I was reading it. So what he's explaining and saying, if you didn't really quite get it, is that we are energy. And when we react in a certain way and things happen to us, that energy is passing through our body and is creating a force. And it's a powerful force. It could either be good or bad, depending on what the situation is. But the energy is going to keep moving. It not only moves through you, it moves around you, and it moves to other people as well. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's see what he then says. That's the only way. Okay, I'm going to go back. Energy is power. And when it hits the resistance of your will, it is forced to circle around itself. That's the only way energy can stay in one place. The circle is such a powerful form in creation. It allows something to keep moving, yet stay stationary. This is how samskaras are formed. So what the author is saying, let me back it up to share so those who are not familiar with the book and where he's going with this. He's saying that as you build up these traumas, as you build up all these preferences, as you build up these opinions and judgments, there is energy that is formed around it. Okay? And it has to move continuously around in a circle so it stays like a circular motion. like a tornado almost. So you think about, for example, when you're happy, you're inundated with the force of euphoria and you could feel the energy flowing around you. The same as when you're angry, the force is strong and it's all around you going like a tornado. And it can continue and it's going to continue because it has to continue because it's energy. So that's where he's getting down to. The circle is such a powerful form in creation. It allows something to keep moving yet stay stationary. This is how some scars are formed, he says again. These stored patterns from the past keep trying to release, but you keep pushing them back down, either consciously or subconsciously. By now, you can see how these samskaras are running your life. To begin with, they keep coming up by themselves, and that alone causes suffering. To avoid this, you have to commit a major part of your life to creating situations that make it comfortable to live inside yourself. He then goes on to say, you end up relying on brilliant analytical mind to figure out how to be okay. Hey, he's now talking about how we just are overthinking how to be okay. Because now we're using our mind. I do it all the time. Okay, let me figure it out. But I move a little bit differently now. So let's see what he's talking about. I'm going to open this window a tiny, tiny bit. I need some air. Okay. He says, your mind does this by imagining what would work for you. It just starts making up things, playing make-believe. As these imagined thoughts arise, you can feel how they affect your blockages. You're trying to see how the world needs to be to fit you the best, he says. What if this person was a certain way? What if that person hadn't said what they said to me? We do this all the time. This is me talking. We do this all the time to one another. When I talk about cause and effect a lot. So I'm not going to say guilty of this, but I do this because I say, well, something happens and it didn't go your way. You caused it to happen and this is the effect that's coming out of it. And though it is a true statement, there could be times that I can go back and try to balance, my reaction to certain situations. So he's talking about stuff like that. He says, what if I changed jobs to become the boss so people would have to listen to me instead of me listening to them? He then says, everything going on in your personal mind is because you're either trying to match the stored patterns that will make you feel better or avoid the patterns that will make you feel worse. He then says, both ways, the stored patterns are running your life. Don't feel bad about it, he says. It's that way for pretty much everyone and always has been. Okay, so now that I said what I said, I don't feel, so indifferent or bad or anything because it's normal. We do this, it's normal, he's saying. He then goes on and says this. You now have a deeper understanding of what we'll call the predicament. He's calling that a predicament. You're in there. You're not okay in there. And you have developed concepts of how everything needs to be for you to be okay in there. He then says, if you are not careful, you will struggle to satisfy these needs for the rest of your life. A perfect example of this burden is the all too common practice of worrying. This is me talking now. I used to worry a lot about stuff. And my children still, they got so used to me worrying about things that now to this very day, they still will cut me off quick and say, Mom, don't worry. But I have grown past heavy worrying. I may think about something, but I don't worry about it anymore. I just kind of let it flow through me, and it took a lot of years of practice for me to do that. And I think my children still don't believe me. I could say something and they just think that it's a worry. No, I'm just making a comment. I'm just acknowledging the flow of energy that's going on, whatever it is. So he's talking about worrying. You want, or you worry that you're going to get what you don't want. That's interesting. Let me read that again. He says, there are only two reasons for worrying. One, you either worry that you are not going to get what you want, or you worry that you're going to get what you don't want. He said the same thing. So it's repetitious. We're worrying because we're not going to get what we don't want to get something. That's what it is. I'm reading this just like y'all, and I guess that's what it is when we worry. Let's see what else he says. He says, this drives you to work outside in the world to satisfy your needs. But the root of discomfort is your stored patterns from the past. You're deciding you need to do things outside in order to appease these patterns that are inside. This does not get rid of the stored patterns. It actually reinforces your commitment to them. Over time, they will continue to bother you, he says. Okay. He goes on now and says, let's say you feel lonely because you don't have someone special in your life. This sounds perfectly normal, but the truth is, having someone special in your life is your attempt to solve your loneliness. That hit home for me. I'm be really open and honest about that as I think about that. And that is true. That is true. Especially, with me being single, I always was like, I would like to have a partner, but then I think about no. And then I tried and it was like, no. But then you go back and then you're alone and you think about loneliness. You're like, I like to have a partner. No. I've now learned that I'm never alone and I'm comfortable in what someone would call loneliness. And I had to learn that. It was a hard lesson, but it's true. And I'm very happy and I'm very comfortable now. So let's see what he says. It does not address the cause of it. It's just like if you eat poorly and have a stomach ache. You may start looking for the Pepto-Bismol. If someone then asks you why you have a stomach ache, please don't say it's because you can't find the Pepto-Bismol. He has jokes, I guess. He then says, finding the Pepto-Bismol is an attempt to compensate for your stomach ache. It is not related to the cause of it. He then says, the Pepto-Bismol may make you feel better temporarily, but unless you change your eating habits, the stomach ache will return. Okay, so this is me talking. Take that example as food for thought on what causes you aches, heartaches, body aches, stomach aches, headaches, all kinds of aches. Okay. He then goes on to say, you will find this is true for many things you do to compensate for your discomforts. Let's see what he goes on. We'll be done. This is a short chapter. We're almost finished. He then says, eventually, we wake up and realize that compensating for what's wrong is not good enough. We must solve the root cause of why we are not okay, he's saying. There is a state within you that is always filled with love and a sense of happiness. Yogananda called it ever new joy. It is not a joy you get tired of. It is constantly upward flowing, new experience of beauty. I'm stopping for a minute. I could say that that's where I am right now. And I didn't have a name for it. I just felt like I was like in a space that I'm just comfortable. But there is a name for it because I feel like I'm filled with love and joy all the time. Even if I like get upset or angry about something, I'm always still filled with love and joy because my anger never lasts a long time. It's like just like almost immediately it'll flow through me. If if even if it lasts, I don't even see where it lasts, 15 minutes. I may go on about something, maybe an hour max, and then it's gone. But still inside me, I always have this love and full of a joy inside my soul. And I think that's what he's talking about. The Yogananda calls that the ever new joy. So I am actually presently experiencing ever new joy. And I hope that you can learn to experience that one day as well if you're not. Okay, a sense of happiness and joy all the time. Okay, even in the fuckery. Let me sidebar for a minute before I go on. I had to go to handle some business today, and I was going through the parking lot, and the guy was coming so fast through the parking lot. I don't know why people are driving so fast in these parking lots, but I saw him, so I'm driving slow in the parking lot, and I drove in front of him, and I was driving slow, and he got really angry at me, and he started like honking. So at first I looked, and I was still going real slow, and I just turned my head forward and smiled and just kept going slow. He was so furious and so mad at me because I wouldn't acknowledge the energy that he was putting out towards me because I was driving slow with his driving fast nowhere in the parking lot. But I could have gotten upset, but I felt nothing. I felt nothing. I just felt joy. I was like, okay, and I just kept on going. So that's where you want to be in life, especially with the road rage. They are out of control. Like y'all going with that bullshit. I'm not trying to do nothing you want. I'm gonna do what's comfortable for me at a safe place, safe space, safe. Anyway, let's go on. He then goes on to say, it's not a joy you get tired of. It is constantly upward flowing, new experience of beauty. This is a solution to this is the solution to every problem you're having inside, he says. Make it beautiful in there. Instead of thinking that the new job will do it, the new relationship will do it, or more money and popularity will do it, do the necessary inner work and make it beautiful inside. Notice that your problems all start with, I'm not okay in there. Okay, I'll say it again. He says your problems start with, I'm not okay in there. You're not okay inside this shell. Your spirit is not okay, is what he's talking about. Okay. He then says, if you were okay, you wouldn't be worrying and complaining. You being there enjoying the beauty of the experience you're having. Okay, think about that, what he's saying. And in this book, he talks about whether the experience is good or bad. Enjoying those moments and that part of the journey. Okay. He then goes on and says this. Enjoying your inner state doesn't mean nothing will happen inside. Read it wrong. Enjoying your inner state doesn't mean nothing will happen outside. Nobody is saying you don't interact with the world. You just don't interact with the world in an attempt to solve your inner problems. The outside cannot solve your inner blockings. All the outside world can do is temporarily allow the energy to go around a blockage and not hit it as much, he's saying. This creates some relief, but it's not going to get rid of the blockage. He then goes on as he's getting ready to close and says this: working on releasing inner blockages instead of struggling with life to get what you want can seem like something is being taken away from you. But if what is being taken away from you is causing suffering, this should not be a problem. If you're eating something that makes you sick and someone wants to give you food that makes you healthy, you must first stop eating what makes you sick, he says. This is not an act of reunification, it's simple wisdom. Taking on inner work does not mean you don't get married, have a job, or fully put your heart into whatever you're doing, he says. You can do all of that, but not for the purpose of solving your inner problems, he's saying. So I'm going to touch on that because it's driving me to say this, This is where people, they come into your lives and they don't even realize that they have an ulterior motive. They don't even realize that they're coming to get something to help them heal something, cure something, solve a problem of some sort. They don't even realize that there's an agenda behind them coming into your life. This happens all the time, all over the place. And this is what he's talking about. Drawing people, meeting people, wanting to be with people to help you solve your shit, to help you solve your inner problem instead of you going and solving it yourself and doing the work to solve it yourself is what he's referring to. And when we deal with these kind of people and you figure out that, yeah, there's an agenda behind what they're doing, it's not heartfelt. It's not that they truly want to have a reciprocal interaction with you, giving, receiving, giving. It's more because they need something for themselves. Those are the people that you want to keep at a distance. You can let them in your life. You can even interact with them, but you don't let them in your heart chakra space as much until you understand and overstand and even understand what it is this person is about. What is their ulterior motive? And if you're okay with whatever the motive is that they're bringing forth, then go ahead and move forward in the interaction. Go ahead and move forward in the relationship. But just be aware on what's transpired and accept it without complaints. Remember, acceptance without complaints. Okay? So let's see how he's going to close here. That's a word of wisdom from a croon myself. As life lessons, I have experienced it all. Trust and believe. He then says in closing, if you are letting the avoidance of your inner problems define what you're doing, all you're doing is expressing your inner problems outside, he says. Say a psychologist held up a wordish ink blot. I don't even know what that is. I have to look that up. And you get upset about what you saw in. Oh, that's the I know what that is. That's those okay, so those the workish ink blot is like when you go to, I've been to many therapists, that's why I know all about it. I had to think about it for a minute. So they give you like a series of papers or hold up a page in a book, and it's going to have a picture on it. And in that picture on that page, you decipher what you see in that. And what you see in that ink blot, blessings, King, blessings, Jarvis J. Thank you for joining me. I'm almost finished here. I'm wrapping up. So go back and take a look. Anyone that's coming in now and seeing this later, please go back and take a look. So when you look at this ink blot, you might see something. Is this what he brings it? That is will bring a traumatic experience. So you see something that's traumatic. You may see a monster. You may see a weapon. You may see something that gets you upset. So that's what the ink blot is. You could see something beautiful. So when the psychiatrist or the psychologist is usually the one that uses the ink blot, not the psychiatrist is the one that prescribes the medications. I've worked with them all. And so the psychologist holds up the ink blot. Oh, good. I am good. Thank you. I'm feeling good. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you. I'm happy. I'm at peace. I'm content. So thank you for noticing. So in the ink blot, the psychologist then writes down what your reaction is to that ink blot and how you're describing the ink blot so they can learn and create a plan to help you. So that's what it is. Okay. So he's talking about the ink blot, and the ink blot ink blot. You got upset about what you saw in it. The author is saying. What? That would be ridiculous. He's saying that would be ridiculous, but actually it does happen. Okay? It actually does happen that someone can see that ink blot and see something in it and get upset. Okay? But he's saying that that would be ridiculous. It is, but oh well. He then closes and says, "You would not solve anything by getting upset. Yet trying to solve inner problems by rearranging the outside is exactly what everybody is doing." Yeah. He says everybody does this. You try to put something in your life to put it as a placeholder to fix whatever is broken within you. This is me speaking now. He closed the paragraph like this. We choose people, places, things to try to compensate for our sadness, our dis-ease, our discomfort, our esteem problems, our, traumas, everything that's blocking us. We try to substitute and put things in place. So that's what we're going to be working on these next few chapters on how to deal with that. He then goes into chapter 27, which I'll read. I don't think I'm going to do it tomorrow because I'm really busy, but I may come on a Sunday and read it. I'm trying to close out this book before the end of the month, and we're almost there, almost there. Anyone that wants to, like I said, go through the entire book, it is on my Instagram at Third Eye Bell, and I have a live reading on every chapter in this book all the way up to this period. Or you can order it on Audible, or go ahead and order it and read it. A lot of people don't really read books these days. Time is, constraint. So I'm going to be here reading for you on my platforms because I love to read. I spend time reading and I write. So in between my reading and I'm writing, that's what I'm doing. So let's see what he's going to talk about next week in the paradigm shift. Okay, so he's going to start with everyone wants to improve their experience in life. And he's going to talk about an experiment. So that'll cover next week. All right. Blessings. I see cross the dawn, cross the last dawn. Thank you for joining me. I'm just finishing up here. Please go back and look at this live. And I hope it resonates with you. I hope it touches you. I hope it can help you in some way, shape, or form to think about things differently. Blessings to you, King. I'm well. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to pull down my closing cards for tonight and get on up out of here. I have a couple of things I want to do tonight, so I'm going to get off early. It is Friday night. I have a little bit of business I need to take care of. Once again, living untethered, y'all. You want to untether yourself from this matrix and live your true, authentic self. You just checking in to see if I'm okay. I'm good. Please check back with me. Let's touch base really soon. All right, let me get a closing card out here. Let's share here. What is our Ascended Master going to say as we close out? Which Ascended Master is going to be closing for us tonight? Oh, nice. I love tarot. I love the energy of the cards. We have Krishna. Most people know Krishna. And Krishna has a message. That's the energy that's drawn in. And Krishna is saying, find the blessings in your current situation. That is our closing message. Card number 1. Find the blessings in that current situation. Thank you. Thank you. I feel really good. I feel whole and complete in myself and acceptance of the path that my life has taken, the turn that is taken. So I guess it's showing, right? You know, it's showing. I'm not doing a whole lot of the glam stuff. You know, I got my lipstick, but I don't really wear makeup. I do a little bit, but I'm just me. You know, it's good days, bad days. Good days and bad days. All right, let's see what our closing symbol is going to be. Oh, we looked at that one already. Oh, gosh, that karmatic path just keeps all popping up in my deck lately. Watch that karmatic path. Oh, gosh, a new beginning. The symbol for a new moon came out in our closing deck. It says starting over. Starting over, planting those seeds. We just got out of a cycle of a new moon. We're now in a half moon. We're getting ready to go into a full moon. So if you haven't planted your seed, go and do so. Speak it into existence. This is always a beginning, a completion of a project. Starting it so they can go to completion. Excuse me. Okay. Here's our new moon. All right. My last card is going to be coming from Isis. We already had her once here. Let's see what that energy is going to be. Have Isis closing us down tonight. Hey, Isis. What do we have here? Oh, okay. Nice. So here is Isis sending a message of power to us. In this message, Isis says this to close. Stay true and be in your power. You are a sovereign, divine being with spiritual authority and freedom within. You do not need permission from anyone to be who you are and live your life as you so choose. Remember that, y'all. As you so choose. Okay? She then closes and says this. This is your divine birthright. Guard it as a precious treasure. Guard it is as the precious treasure that is to remember that you are a divine being free to be you. So guard yourself. Guard your energy. Guard your soul. Guard yourself against anything that does not serve you, is what she's saying. You're free to be you. Even if you're in an unfortunate situation, like those that are locked down in jail, they can't take your free will. They can't take the treasure, your birthright, to free thinking. They can shift it because you have to do what they say to do, particularly when you're incarcerated or when you're on a job. But you still have free will inside your mind and your heart, as you are all magical and divine beings. Alrighty. Okay, y'all. I want to thank you, anyone that joins me. I am Third Eye Bell. If you have watched this video and it is beneficial, I ask you to please hit the like button. If it may be beneficial to someone else, I ask you to please share it. And join me again real soon as we continue to read Living Untethered. All right. Peace. I'm out.